This is the DaVinci Resolve Speed Editor, and it has been an amazing tool that has drastically helped speed up my editing workflow for all of my YouTube videos, mini documentaries, and literally any talking head footage that I need to cut through. And that interview footage or talking head footage like I'm doing right now is usually what takes me the longest to cut. Because even if you're seeing a 3-minute mini documentary that I shot or a 5-minute YouTube video like these, the reality is that I'm starting with a 20 to 60 minute raw clip of just me talking. So being able to trim it down to that final 3 to 5 minutes is really important. Now, Blackmagic Design did send me the speed editor to try out, but in this video you will be getting my full and honest opinion. So in the box you get the DaVinci Resolve Speed Editor, a USB-C cable for charging and updates, and also an amazing bonus, which is the full version of DaVinci Resolve Studio. So if you don't already have DaVinci Resolve Studio, I definitely recommend buying the Speed Editor, so that way you can get both the Speed Editor and Studio for $3.95. Now, there's no USB-C charging block that is included, but you can just plug it into your laptop if you have USB-C ports there, or you can even use a USB-C charging block that you might use for your phone. And while we are on the topic of charging, I will say that the battery life on this is amazing. This thing holds a charge so well, and I've only charged it a handful of times since I've actually received it. So battery life is not something you need to worry about. If anything, you can just charge it like once a week, but you will be set. All right, so now for the actual design and build quality. The Speed Editor has a plastic encasing, and while it is plastic, it actually does have like a nice weight to it. It's not insanely heavy or cumbersome, but it doesn't feel super light or cheap in any way. Now, the keys kind of remind me of those retro clicky clacky keyboards that you would have like on an older desktop, and I wasn't sure if I'd like it at first, but it really grew on me. So as far as the keys, I really like them. They feel very punchy and very responsive. And one of the coolest things about this is actually the scroll dial, which is pretty much how you're going to be scrolling through your clips. It's got like a super nice spin, and again, it has like a nice weight to it. Another thing that I will say that I really like about the design is just how small and portable this thing is. So I don't always just edit here at home at my desk. Sometimes I will go out to a coffee shop to get my work done, and it's really cool. I've actually brought this to coffee shops before. It's very low key, so you don't really have to worry about bringing a giant bag. I just throw it in my backpack and I'm good to go. The one thing I will mention about the design that I wasn't the biggest fan of is over time, the two plastic components that are together kind of do start to separate a little bit. So I notice whenever I pick it up, there is a little bit of play at this part, but it doesn't feel like it's gonna break or anything like that. And even now, it doesn't bother me because once you actually put it down on the desk, you don't hear any of that creaking. It's only when you pick it up and say grab it from this point. Okay, so now how the Speed Editor actually functions. So you'll connect it to Bluetooth like you do anything like your AirPods or your mouse or your keyboard. Once it's connected, all you have to do is when you open DaVinci Resolve, this thing for the most part will automatically turn on, or you just press one of the keys once you're in DaVinci Resolve and it is instantly connected. So once you open up DaVinci Resolve and throw some clips into your editing timeline, you can go to the cut page. And that is the first reason that the Speed Editor actually helped speed up my workflow. So before I had the Speed Editor, I would just skip the cut page and go straight to the edit page, and I would just cut all my interviews from there. I'd be using the arrow and the blade, and I would just continually toggle between both of those. And I was also zooming in and out of the timelines. So that was the biggest drag and the part that would always take me the longest. But with the Speed Editor, the main function of this tool is actually in the cut page. Now, I just want to preface this with saying I won't be showing you a full-on tutorial and breakdown of each and every key, but I will show you the main functions that I use that really benefit my workflow. All right, so now that we are in DaVinci Resolve, we have our clip that we are going to start cutting. And this is the cut page where you'll be actually utilizing the Speed Editor. But before we even touch the Speed Editor, we're going to go into the edit page and we are going to drag in my long talking clip. I do have to sync my audio because I'm recording on a separate lav mic. Okay, so now that we got our audio file all synced up, what we will do now is go to the cut page and we can actually begin using the Speed Editor. So we have a timeline on the top and a timeline on the bottom. The timeline on the top shows the entire timeline, and then the timeline on the bottom is magnified, and that's what we're going to be looking at. So as you can see, this whole part, so I'm using the scrolling wheel right now, and these three keys kind of control how fast the speed is, but I typically remain in jog. So now we are going to go, and what I will do to trim this first just excess piece off of the file, I will just simply scroll all the way to when I actually start talking, which, see, I already trimmed like 42 seconds. So now I will just click split, and then I will scroll to hover over that piece I don't want, and then I can just click ripple delete, and there we go. Press space and it'll start rolling. There we go. So I will turn up the volume so you can kind of see. All right, so I'll press play. Welcome back to the channel. See, so I already messed up in that first intro. So now I'll actually show you another way to trim down this file. So of course I can go to split and then go over to ripple delete, and that'll cut the clip. Or if you press escape twice, it'll undo that cut that you just made. So now I have this back, and I will press undo one more time so that I get rid of that actual cut in the clip. And now I can actually go to trim in. I'll just hold trim in, and then I can go all the way to the piece that I want to start at, and then let go and you're good. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I know it has been and then I kind of want to cut that little piece where I was breathing out, so I will just click split, and I can click trim in. And then say if you want to extend the clip on the left, you can just hold trim out, and then you can extend that, or you can even trim it down a little bit more from there. So then you just press play. I know it has been in the videos over this past month. Okay, and then I'll just press split, trim in. It's honestly. So you can really see I mess up a lot in my talking head bits. I just maybe mispronounced a word or said a sentence wrong, but this actually helps so much. So I can just get rid of that. And then say if I want to kind of view the full screen, I'll just click full view. Things have just been incredibly busy for me. Go back to regular view. I messed up again, so now I will just go to split, ripple delete. Things have just been incredibly busy for me between client work. There we go, split, trim in. Usually when there's like a smaller space, I'll just do trim in, because ripple delete is a little bit harder to just go through and press the ripple delete. You might accidentally delete a bigger file, so you can just undo that and then keep going. Opportunity that I can't wait to share with you all. Split, trim in. And I also got this really cool option. And again, the whole role of the speed editor is not to make perfect cuts, but to actually just kind of go in and quickly trim these super long pieces of your video. And that's pretty much how I use the speed editor for my workflow. And once I kind of cut this whole piece up, I will kind of go into the edit and I will rewatch everything and kind of perfect it to a final cut. And then I will throw in all of my B-roll and stuff like that. All right, so that's pretty much it for all the aspects of the speed editor and how it has benefited my workflow. And to who I'd recommend it to, I would say to video editors and filmmakers that you are pretty busy and you do have a lot of like mini documentary or corporate footage where you're cutting long interviews and you do want to speed up your workflow. I think this is a great tool for you. And long term, I see this being the perfect tool for me just because I do kind of travel. I don't just always edit at home. So the portability and the functionality is great. Anyways, that is it for this video. I just want to say a huge thank you for watching. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. So I wanted to try a new hobby, but I did want to stick in the